Chelsea's next manager is. Now in this video we're going to be looking at the candidates and seeing their profiles, their experience, what they've done, and let's be honest, a lot of them don't have anything done if you know anything about the people on our shortlists. But regardless, we're going to do our best to see what they can offer. Now before we get into it, I have a source that is very reliable that says McKenna to Chelsea is already done apparently, which is shocking, and it's quick. So I'm not sure if I can believe it, because it's a bit too quick, don't you think? But, and talking about rumours, De Zerbi has accepted terms with a club. Now, there's only two clubs that are interested in De Zerbi, and that is Chelsea and Manchester United. Now look, it probably is Manchester United, but there's a possibility that Chelsea has agreed terms with De Zerbi, which, you know, it's mad. But regardless, let's get straight into the video. Now, first up, I want to talk about Mourinho. Now, I don't think Mourinho's going to get the job. It makes no sense. And I would love to actually have him back, but I don't think it's going to happen because of his profile, experienced manager, old, a bit, you know what I mean? Like obviously, I love him, but the board probably look at him and say, nah, too old. And his track record does say that he's probably going to get into a lot of arguments with the owners, and they are specifically looking to, you know, prevent that from happening. So it makes no sense. It makes no sense for them to go for Mourinho. So let's see how that pans out. But look, the reason I do say his name, even though I don't believe he has any chance here, is because the odds have recently shifted in Mourinho's favour and put him in second behind McKenna. That's insane. Where did that come from? But you know what I mean? When stuff like this happens, you do have to question, do the odd makers know what's happening? Do they have a source, a rumour? What do they have? So that's the only reason I decided to mention his name. But again, I still don't think he's got a chance here. So I just wanted to let you know about that, so we can now move on to the candidates that, for me, are very likely to get the job. Now, there's only 4 of these people, and I'm going to be starting off with Robert De Zerbi. Now, look, out of all the managers listed, right, Robert De Zerbi has the most experience. Now, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but compared to every other manager, he has a lot. Now, for me, he is the second most likely to get the job. And you know what? I'd deal with a bit of Robert De Zerbi. Like, the rumours have been here for damn near a year, and if we get him in, I'm not too mad at it, man. Like, he had a good season with Brighton last year. This season, it's been underwhelming, but again, you take away his Caicedo and stuff, like, it's not a good look. But what I will say, the reason why De Zerbi, for me, is a solid shout is because he's managed a lot of the players that we already have in the squad. And not only that, he done good stuff with Brighton, and Brighton has worse players, pound for pound, compared to Chelsea. We have a lot more players in a lot of areas, and if we don't get worse injuries than we did this year, then he has a lot of options, and just, it's like, if he doesn't perform, then he's just a fraud, isn't it? But it's very difficult to not perform well, as long as the injuries for Chelsea aren't absolutely large. But look, let's look at the players that he has managed before. Mikhailo Mudryk at Shakhtar Donetsk, and he performed well there. You know, obviously he did, though. It's not hard to do, but obviously, he knows Mudryk. He knows how to get a good amount from him, and you know, these are small signs that, you know, that we have to analyze right now and say that perhaps he will influence positively that player because he has performed with them in the past. More so, we have a lot of Brighton players there. Sanchez, Caicedo, of course. Caicedo's best season was with De Zerbi, and now with Chelsea, with a more stable team, he can, I mean, hopefully he can perform even better, make Caicedo perform even better. So there's a lot to be hopeful for with De Zerbi. I'm sure I'm forgetting more players. Cucurella. Now, obviously, Cucurella's actually done well this season with Poch, but obviously he also did well with De Zerbi when he was at Brighton, which is why we bought him. But yeah, is that another player? Are there any more Brighton players that I'm forgetting? Oh, Levi Colwill, that's one. Now, as for the players, I'm pretty sure that's it. But staff members, we have a couple of their staff members, and I'm sure De Zerbi might have a bit of bad blood with them since, you know, they left him. But obviously, in terms of chemistry, I'm sure they have a lot of chemistry together. So it's, like I said, it's hopeful with De Zerbi because he has experience with a lot of the club. Because we are basically Brighton 2.0. Let me know in the comments if you want De Zerbi, right? But now let's move on to Kieran McKenna. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on Kieran McKenna. When I first heard his name, I was like, what are we doing? And I still am saying, what are we doing? But I've analysed a bit. I've looked at what he's done. And you know what? He has potential, right? Back-to-back promotions with Ipswich. Like, literally, first year in the Championship, they finished second with, I'm not sure, was it 97 points, something like that? It's very impressive, man. It really is. He didn't just scam his way and barely make it into a promotion through the playoffs or something. He got second, nice and clear. And they've done a lot. And obviously, Amari Hutchinson, a player that he's been coaching this season, that's a Chelsea player, man. Who knows? Maybe Amari Hutchinson can come to Chelsea now and perform well here as well. I doubt it with Elise saying all these other ballers coming in, Esteval, the right wing position is looking a bit compact. So I'm not sure if Amari Hutchinson can get in the squad even if McKenna comes. But again, McKenna, young coach at the end of the day. If we do get him and he gets a good start and, you know, shows a lot of potential, then you know what? It'll be a good get in. But honestly, do I want Kieran McKenna? No, I don't. But out of the names, it's not that bad, I guess. Again, he has potential. He's shown a lot of class and a lot of tactical excellence. So having him in sounds interesting. But let's be honest, I don't want him in. You don't want him in. So, yeah. But yeah, now let's move on to the manager that I think will perform the best in Chelsea. And look, he hasn't got a lot of experience, but he's had a great season. And technically speaking, in this list, he's the only one that has won something in a top 7 league. Ruben Amorim, young Portuguese coach. Does that ring any bells? Now, of course, completely different story. Mourinho won the Champions League with Porto, and Amorim won the league with Sporting. You know what I mean? It's not really comparable. But listen, young Portuguese coach, man, I promise you something's there. Now, look, he does play good football, and I think he'll do a good job here. Honestly, I do. But again, it's a roll of the dice. None of these managers here have even a 50% chance of getting top 4 football with Chelsea. I don't think they do. It honestly is a roll of the dice. And right now, the best that I can do is hope for the one with the most chance of getting the highest finish. And I think Amorim is the guy. And then De Zerbi and McKenna are risky ones, but you know, they have something there, something in them that I think a lot of the other coaches in the market right now don't have. So look, I mean, it's as simple as that. I think if we don't get Osimhen and we get Amorim in, then I think Amorim could possibly get Gyökeres in. I'm sure Gyökeres would be interested. Big Six club, going back to the manager who won him a trophy, like, you know what I mean? But look, right now I'm living in fairyland. Let's see what happens. But all I will say for me is, if I had to take a guess, Amorim is the best coach right now. I don't know why, but that's all. But again, other than this season, he's won nothing and has no experience in other coaching roles, really. So let's see what happens. Now, for the final candidate, Enzo Maresca. Now, the only thing that Enzo Maresca has going for him right now is that he was an assistant coach for Pep for 1 year. Now, look, there is a correlation between being Pep's assistant manager and performing well in your managerial career. We've seen that with Arteta. He's not won anything yet, but let's be honest, Chelsea would love to be where Arsenal is right now. However, it is not the same. Arteta was under Pep for 3 years, and not only that, he's a player that in his professional career, he was a player that really had vision, you know what I mean? Like, he understood the game well. His IQ was good before he got into management. Now, Enzo Maresca, I know nothing about in his professional career, to be honest, but I don't think it's the same. Now, again, another thing is 1 year compared to Arteta having 3 years under Pep, you know what I mean? Multiple years studying under Pep, learning the ways. Enzo Maresca had 1 year. 1 lousy year. That is not enough to, you know what I mean, like absorb Pep's tactics like a sponge. You can't do it in a year, man. So I think Enzo Maresca is going to be a good coach, but in terms of a Big Six coach, I don't think he's got the guile for that. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is that Ten Hag was also Pep's assistant manager at one point. And how good is he? To be fair though, Ten Hag has had a fantastic season at Ajax, but what's he doing right now? You know what I mean? Long term, was he that good? Maybe not. So guys, let me know, out of all the managers I've listed, who do you want more? Specifically the last 4 I said. Don't count Mourinho in, right? Obviously, I know we all love Mourinho in, but out of the 4 names I listed, which of them do you want most? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week, guys. Thank you and bye.